Oh, wow. It's an Amiga 500. Oh yeah, we got an Amiga 500. An Amiga 500. So what is an Amiga 500? Well, an Amiga 500 is a home computer that came out in about 1987. It had some great graphics, great sound, and great games were released on this computer. All the best games were coming out for Amiga back then, and this really was a gaming computer for gamers. I mean, there was other stuff released for it, like text editors and word processors and boring stuff like that, but most people played games on these computers. And today, that's no exception. We're going to be playing some games here. What I wanted to do in this video was to compare Macintosh games, like some of the Macintosh games that I grew up with, games that were created for Macintosh computers and then were later ported to Amiga. That's what I want to try in this video. I want to see if those games are any good or if they're crappy and we can laugh at them, or what's going on with them, because there are a few different games that I would really like to know about. And I downloaded them and I put them on discs so we can check it out, and I hope you'll join me. It should be pretty fun. Alright guys, so this is the Amiga setup. This is what I got going on in here. So I got the computer right here. The Amiga computer, of course, it's got the built-in floppy drive is right here. And then I've got a second floppy drive right here because a lot of Amiga games are more than one floppy disk. You gotta play everything from a floppy disk because there's no hard drive. And then having this second drive just makes it so much easier because you don't have to swap disks as often. Over here, I've got my original Amiga discs. These are all original copies and stuff like that. Here's one of the games we're going to be checking out today, Shufflepuck Cafe. But I've got some great stuff in here. We gotta go through this sometime, guys, because amazing stuff in here. All these work too. I've been playing some of these lately. Look at this one, Shadow of the Beast 2. I actually have not played this one because I was still playing the first one, but I hear Shadow of the Beast 2 is pretty good. Let me know down in the comments if I should check it out. But yeah, there's a ton of great games in here. A lot of adventure games and stuff. The Sierra games are in there. That's pretty cool. Right here I've got the Amiga 520. This is just a little adapter that makes it so you can plug this in the back of the Amiga and then you can hook it up to just a normal TV. It's very essential that you have one of these. If of course you didn't have it hooked up to RGB right here. This is about the best quality that you can possibly get, and I've got it hooked up to an actual Amiga monitor, which is super cool. I'm so thankful to have this. Let's see what else we got. We got the power cord, we got the serial cable. So I have this hooked up to a modern Windows computer so that I can transfer games and stuff. I'm sure you could do other things, like maybe even surf the internet. I don't know. I'm sure someone's got that figured out. Yeah, then here's the floppy disk, the audio cables, blah, 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 blah. And here's the mouse. Look at this thing. This is insane, dude. It's like a tank. Such a crazy, chunky mouse, though. It feels like it's never going to break. Like it will last forever. It's pretty cool. Yep, this is the Amiga system. Well, let's get started and let's check out these games. So I'm going to show you the original Macintosh versions of these games, followed by the Amiga versions. Keep in mind that it's not possible to preserve the original resolution of either system. Both systems are going to be blown up to fit the video here on YouTube. So what I'm saying is they look more blurry here in this video than they do in real life. So right off the bat, you'll notice that the Amiga version has some pretty rockin' music here at the title screen. Here's the original Macintosh version played in the Mini VMac emulator. And here is the Amiga version played on WinUAE. At the opponent selection screen, you'll see that it's been remade and colorized. The Amiga version of the opponent selection screen is most likely based on the poster that came with the game. It's a cool poster.
Good shot. Good shot.
And here's what it looks like when you have it all set up and are playing on real hardware. As for the gameplay, it is awesome here on the Amiga. Though the frame rate does seem to buckle here sometimes on the Amiga, which can be difficult to play. Another thing that I wanted to point out was how well it handles with the Amiga mouse. I mentioned how chunky and robust that thing feels. Well, it really works well for this game. It's a very impressive port, and honestly, this port is right up there on par with the original game. You can tell that care went into this. Next up, Crystal Quest. So first, let's look at the original Macintosh opening. And the Amiga. What stands out here with the Amiga is the screen mode they chose for this game. You can't tell much from the emulator footage, but sitting in front of this game at the monitor, it's really nasty looking. For whatever reason, this game uses the low-res interlaced mode for its graphics, which probably wasn't such a great idea for an arcade game. It most likely used this graphics mode to get more colors on the screen. But come on, you should have just used less colors in my opinion. It's unfortunate. They tell you in the README to adjust the contrast and brightness on your monitor. To give you an idea what I'm talking about, check out this webpage. See how the interlaced graphics seem to jump up and down? Now imagine the entire screen doing that with bad guys flying all over. Makes me want to puke. As far as the gameplay goes, it's very faithful to the original, and even has a save game feature. But I must be doing something wrong because I can't get that to work. It wouldn't let me load my saves. Just like Shufflepuck, this game controls great with the Amiga mouse. It feels right up there with the original in terms of how the game handles and feels. It just looks worse. Again, I wish it didn't use that graphics mode. This could have been such an amazing port. Next up, I tried some of the classic adventure game Shadowgate. I was thinking that this game would probably work great on the Amiga, with the color graphics, good resolution, and most importantly, the mouse. The first thing that I noticed was that the screen layout was different than any other version I've seen. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's still got all of the same windows and commands, and the way it's presented here still works perfectly fine. I'm sure they did it to make everything fit on screen with the resolution, but then again, all the other ports made it work with the standard layout, so I don't know. The sound effects here are good. They're not the exact ones from the Macintosh version. Not that I could tell anyways. But I like the way they sound, so that's what's most important to me. Another big thing about this game is that the graphics have been reworked and are now in color. I'm glad they went with redrawing them instead of just colorizing the black and white Mac graphics. I must say, it's not as haunting as the original Macintosh version. And no, I still couldn't get into that darn secret area. Ah. And last, I've always wanted to try out the original Dark Castle on real hardware. The Amiga did also get a release of Beyond Dark Castle, which I've still never played on real hardware, because there are no rips of it online, in floppy disk ADF format at least. So today we played the original Dark Castle.
Yeah.
The gameplay here, it's not so great. It's completely playable, and it's certainly got its own quirks that you'd have to learn if you want to actually get anywhere in this version. Some of the bad guys move a bit differently than the Mac version. The same goes with Duncan. He controls differently than the Mac version, and unfortunately, it's for the worse. It's not a straight port or anything like that. You can tell they rewrote most, if not all, of this game's code, and it's just not as good as the original.
Whoa! Whoa!
Another bad thing about this version is the loading time. It takes forever to move in between rooms and it breaks the immersion. This is what it's like to move from one room to another on real hardware. It sucks. Still, I think the 1994 color Macintosh release by Delta Tau was the best port of the original Dark Castle. The Amiga version would come next in line after that. On the Amiga, I don't really like the way Duncan handles. He feels rubbery here, and that's just bad when this game demands pixel-perfect maneuvering. It's frustrating. The sound is kinda bad here too. While I understand stereo sound was cool and all, it just sounds bad the way they did it here. The sound effects echo and alter from left to right channels, what seems like randomly, and it sounds like ass. I will say though, this version of the game is definitely the most playable of the original ports, which is kinda sad. So overall, the Amiga kinda blew me away with these games today. I mean, the Amiga by itself was such an amazing platform. It had so many of its own great games and everything, but it was really interesting to see how these Mac games were treated here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to let me know by hitting that like button. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe. I've got a lot more videos coming up here on this channel, and I hope you'll join me again in the future. I'll see you soon with a new video, guys. Take care. Goodbye.